Radhe. So I am tuning back in. This weekend I had some programs here north of LA. I'm currently in Simi Valley. The first one was on Saturday at Living Crystal's Energy Rock Shop. Amazing people. Amazing people. The owner's awesome. The people there are great. Stop by this place. It's in Orcutt. If you have a chance and you're passing through the area, it's worth a visit for sure. Amazing people, amazing place. The other place that we had a program was in Pacific Grove at the Center for Spiritual Awakening. Super nice people too. If you have a chance and you're passing through the area, stop by. The lovely people, worth a visit for sure. So we are, one more thing, housekeeping. So the book is out and it's on Amazon, Walmart.com, Barnes & Noble, and you can find it pretty much anywhere. And it's Bhakti, The Art of Loving God. So if you have a chance, take a look at it and check it out. Any feedback or anything is always welcome. Feel free to email it to me at BhaktiYogaMonk@gmail.com, or you can message it through Facebook or Instagram, BhaktiYogaMonk, on both of those as well. Any and all feedback is really appreciated. All right, well, cool. Here we go. Thank you for tuning in. And the blog entries that we are to now is, the first one is 157. It's a shorter one, and that is from January 18th of 2025. So in this blog entry, what I had happen at this point was I just got back from Mexico, and down there it was an amazing experience being on the boat out in the middle of the ocean and being able to connect in my meditation as I was able to, being so far away from the material energy. And I was integrating a good bit and still figuring it out and still getting used to it. And I wasn't quite sure what to expect as far as where I would be in my integration when I got home. And so this is the first blog entry after I got back to the USA. Here we go. I've made it back to the USA from the boating trip. The outcome wasn't quite what I expected. I had hoped to integrate more deeply and complete parts of the process I had previously stifled out of fear and being overwhelmed. And this was probably about 4 or 5 months before in Seattle, and there's some blog posts about that too. Words can't really capture the actual experience. Any description seems to fall short. What little can be described often leads to lofty ideas and high expectations about something that is, in truth, nearly impossible for us to fully understand. Now, this point right here is really, really important. It's this journey that we're on, it is a divine journey, right? So as we're doing things in the divine and as we're growing into different levels of the divine and having that in our lives and connecting in deeper, bigger, broader ways, the experience is more than we can understand. It'll feel lovely and amazing, but it's deep and it's broad and it's big. But whenever we try and box it in, like, it'll be this, which will be like this. And when we describe that in our mind to ourselves, and we're using our material senses and our material mind, we'll generally box it in, and it'll have similarities to the material version of that. And that is limited in a material way, because in the material energy, it's a mix of good and bad. But in the divine, it's just good. It's not hurt, it's not pain, it's not suffering, it's just good and it's just love. So it's really challenging. And it comes with practice, and it'll always kind of be there at a bit of a snag because we're still using the material mind and the material senses, focusing on Radha and Krishna and growing our love for God. So it's always part of the process. So it's important to keep in mind as much as you can that how we're going to interpret things is going to have a good bit of that material foundation of understanding in it because of our mind and our senses being material. So I kept running into different layers of it, and this is a layer here that would happen a good bit, because I would try and anticipate what it was going to be like and imagine and have an idea, but then it would still be limited by my material mind and senses and material experiences. So the point of reference. So it's just something to keep in mind, and it's a process working through it and getting used to allowing it to be more. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Back to the blog post. It was still amazing, but also a constant test, drifting away, then coming back, again and again. Yet today, I think I realized something. The sannyasi clothing itself is a significant part of the purification process. It seems to cultivate the softness required to integrate more of Krishna's consciousness. Now, this part here, I've learned a lot about it throughout the past year, and still now as well. When I wear the monk clothing, the orange clothing, I feel so soft, and like I feel Krishna's soft embrace so much with me, and I feel how much it pleases him that I'm wearing those clothes for him and doing my Krishna job out teaching Bhakti Yoga. And yeah, I can just feel it. I can put them on, I can just feel it. It's really amazing. And so it is a big part of the purification. And that's pretty much it for the first blog entry. Now, the second blog entry, here we go for it. Blog entry 158 from January 19th of 2025. Today I'm noticing how staying in one place for too long can leave me feeling drained and restless. Movement itself feels like a kind of medicine. It's as if Krishna infuses each new step, each shift of place with fresh energy, renewing my spirit and reminding me of the deeper home I'm moving towards. My teacher once said this journey often feels like returning home again and again, and every step closer to Krishna. And I can see how that is true. As I sit quietly, I wonder how one can balance walking the narrow path towards Krishna while still living in this noisy material world. Even my friends who have been on this path for many years sometimes seem unsure of what to do. I realize I'm not alone in this uncertainty. Yet in the middle of that questioning, I feel Krishna's love gently surrounding me like a soft embrace saying, "Don't worry, I'm here." That love is what carries me even when clarity hasn't fully arrived. Krishna's presence gives me the strength to keep going. His love feels like sunlight breaking through the clouds, sometimes hidden, but always there, always warming and guiding me back when I drift. Today that reminder feels especially strong. Clarity will come, but his love is already here. So this part's really interesting here. So each step feeling home, are you feeling like closer and closer to home and closer to Krishna? What's really cool is as I travel from place to place where Krishna wants me to be, when I get to that place, it feels like home. And everything feels familiar, and it feels soft. And then when it's time for me to go, that energy will start kind of dropping down and become less. And then when I go to the next spot, then it'll feel like that again. And this can be 3 days apart. It can be 2 days apart. It can be 2 months apart. It could be like any amount of time. And so that's me feeling that it's pleasing to Krishna as I'm going from spot to spot for him. And if I happen to overstay when the energy goes down, then at first it's not, so the bliss goes down and that feeling of being at home goes down. And then it'll feel kind of dry with not much bliss and rust. And what'll happen then is then that'll dry up. And then something will start happening to make it like a little uncomfortable. So like they start construction wherever I am and I don't sleep well, or something happens, to get me going to the next place. It's wild. It's really wild how that works. Yeah. On the next point in this blog post where I was talking about how do you walk this path with Krishna in this noisy world? Well, at this time when I wrote this blog entry, I was still integrating and I was still growing. Now, the Krishna presence, like Radha and Krishna's consciousness and their presence is so thick around me. It's amazing. It's just like, it's like sunlight and sparkles all around and inside, and everything is just soft and amazing and flows and is protected. And I can't even explain it. I can't explain it. And at the time of writing this blog entry, I could have never fathomed what it would be like to be at the point I'm at right now. And so that's another example of trying to understand something that the mind really can't. But through love and relationship, growing closer to Radha and Krishna and growing closer in the journey and every step, it just changes and it's more and more full and more love and more complete and more safe. It's incredible. It's really incredible. Yeah. And it's hard to explain it, but the experiences come, and it's amazing and phenomenal, and I can't say anything else about it. All right. That's pretty much it. Words fall short. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for following along. Thank you for your support. And yeah, if you have a chance, glance at the book. Any feedback you want to send over, email it or message it, whatever you wish, no problem. Have a great rest of your day. Radhe, 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 Radhe.